Next up in the workroom,
more than meets the eye. Hey everybody, how's everything out there today in Paint Slinger land? So today we are going to take a look at some nice giant robots. Well, at least one giant robot. You can kind of see who he is right here. It's the one, the only Optimus Prime. Now, WizKids have come out with a wonderful selection of miniatures, just about from anything that you can ever imagine. For your D&D campaign. So if you want to, you can bring that into it. But they've also partnered up with Hasbro, and Hasbro, they brought out with Hasbro, they brought out some really fantastic miniatures, Transformers being one of them. They've also brought out My Little Ponies for those of you out there who like ponies. But we're going to concentrate on Transformers. Now these guys are already pre-primed with Vallejo primer, and the way that they actually come in the package is just like Megatron here. They come with kind of a grayish white primer, which is fine. You know, a lot of people that I know work off of white. That's fine. I, however, like to work off black because if I happen to miss any spots, especially in like the little crevices, it'll just look like a shadow. Whereas if you stay with the white, if you miss any spot, that's going to be a glaring white spot that you have missed. So you have to be really careful and make sure that you've covered all your bases. So since I'm doing prime, I thought, and I like to work off black. I primed him black. So it's still going to be a lot of work to get him to the shades and colors that I like and that I want. Now he's probably going to be a little bit darker than what we see in the comics or see in the toys or whatever, but that's fine. The basis of the colors are still going to be there. He's still going to be red, blue, gray, silver. You know, yellow, little bits of yellow. You know. All the actual real colors are going to be there. So what we're going to do is we're going to start basing his torso today. We're going to base it with Mephiston Red. There we go. Mephiston Red. And to do that, we're going to go outside kind of my comfort zone because I'm used to working with such smaller miniatures, and and he's quite big. Case in point. There's kind of the difference that I'm used to working with that. Now I'm going to this, so we're going to go to a bigger brush because there's a lot more surface area to cover. So I'm going to use a large, a well-loved but large base brush from Citadel with my Mephiston Red, and that's what we're going to do. So it's going to get a lot of the base colors, the chunkier colors, out of the way, boom, right away, and then we can start going in with smaller brushes for the finer details. And it's pretty much the same. We do everything pretty much the same thing as we do with any other project. Put a little bit of the paint on the palette, water it down a little bit, make it a little thin. You kind of saw what I was doing down there, and then it's just going to be slapping it on, and we're not going to worry too much about if we get paint in other areas, because we're going to come back and fix those up. But right now it's literally just getting the paint on there, making sure that we have all the right colors and all the right spots. And again, if we get a spot where other colors are supposed to be, that's fine too. We'll just go back and touch up later on. when it's time to be clean and neat. And we're going to see that prime is going to very quickly take shape, take color. And again, like I said, if we get it on some of the other spots, that's okay too, because we'll clean it all up later on. So if we get some in the window area, that's okay. If we get some on the grill on his front, that's okay. As like I said, we'll go back through and we'll clean everything up. Now I was quite not say shocked, but I was quite delighted to see that that they're breaking out of just the D&D miniatures molds, and that and they're coming into doing some other things. Like I said, My Little Pony, Transformers. Who knows? They might actually do G.I. Joe, and if they do G.I. Joe, that'd be really cool, because I actually wouldn't mind, say, doing some of the Cobra stuff. I wouldn't mind even doing some of the Joe stuff too, but kind of like Cobra. And of course, there's been plenty of crossovers with Transformers and Joe in the comic books, so that's been really cool. And speaking of crossovers and stuff like that, I've heard rumors that they're actually doing a crossover with My Little Pony and Transformers, so that'll be interesting. Just kind of from a morbid curiosity, I kind of want to see how that'll go. So you can see the red is beginning to just pop, and I mean, he looks like Optimus Prime, but I mean, he's starting to already look like Prime. And then, of course, we can go to all kinds of different source material and make sure that what's supposed to be silver is silver, and what's supposed to be gray is gray, and what's blue is blue, and all that good stuff. And then we'll fix what's not supposed to be red or those other colors. Like his hands are blue, so we'll try our best not to get any of the color on the on the hands. But even if we do, we'll just go right back over top of it. No big deal. I'm not too worried about making that big of a mess. I mean, first of all, he's a lot bigger miniature than most miniatures I've worked on. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to getting in here, and of course, because he has a lot of sharp angles and stuff like that, it will be probably pretty easy to do edge highlighting and work them up. I think it'll be pretty cool. Anyway, and there's not enough, and of course, there's definitely not enough source material pictures out there of Optimus Prime that we can look to make sure that all of our colors are spot on in the right places. Well, maybe you got a toy kicking around that you can take a look at. I know I certainly do. Got a couple primes kicking around. So I'll be looking to them see what needs to be done. Now, of course, when I get into the head or on the fists or the hands or stuff like that, of course, I'll go to a smaller brush, so I'm not making too big of a mess on the other spots that I've already painted through. So it will be. I think this guy will be a fun little project. Now, I don't know if there is a game that you can use them, or if they're just something to paint and put on your shelf. I know that right now I don't have a game that I could substitute these guys in for. So these are just cool little painting projects that I thought would be kind of fun to do. Not only that, but these guys actually are a really good price point for the size of the miniature that you get. So I have to give another kudos to WizKids for keeping things like these, keeping miniatures, especially big miniatures like Prime, Megatron. I even have Starscream. The only one I don't have is Bumblebee. Those are the first four, the Wave 1 Transformers that have come out. You know, I'm hoping that maybe they'll release more. Actually, I wouldn't mind getting 2 more of the Starscream miniatures, so I can try and do the other 2 Seekers, or the 2 other jet planes. I think Warpfire, I think, was his name, and if I'm wrong, please leave it in the comments below, and I will happily correct it. And I know that the other one was Thundercracker, so I wouldn't mind at least being able to do Thundercracker and Starscream. I mean, there's Starscream. He looks pretty cool. And these guys come with water slide transfers or stickers if you're not comfortable enough with water slide transfers to work with those. So you can actually put on the Decepticons or the Autobot logos in the spots where they're supposed to be. So like on the wings for Starscream, or right in the center of the chest for good old Megatron. Of course, on either shoulder for the Autobots for Prime. Now, like I said, the only one that I haven't picked up is Bumblebee out of the first wave. Mostly because I haven't been able to find him. I found everybody else. So hopefully, maybe somewhere down the road, we'll be able to get them. But like I was saying, these guys come at a good price point. I believe they were $6.99 at my local comic book store, or my local gaming and comic book store. So that's a really decent price, you know, considering that other companies, you can get maybe 10 miniatures that are half the size or a quarter of the size for about $50, $60, even $70. So, you know, $6 for Optimus Prime. Yeah, okay, definitely, because he's a big guy. He's going to be easy to paint. He's got lots of nice sharp edges. So we're going to do, when we do the highlights, it'll be fantastic. Now, I did do one thing that's different, and you know, this here, and I'm just going to throw it down into the paint and get paint all over myself, as sometimes happens here in the studios. But whatever, doesn't matter. If you don't get a little messy making art, then what's the point? This is the base that they come with. You know, it's just a plain circle, nothing super special. So I went ahead again to a local store and I bought a really nice scenic base for Prime to stand on. Of course, it's going to require a little bit more painting, but I don't have to do any of the work in figuring out what I'm going to put on the base. I just have to paint it up. You know, but he looks good. I mean, he looks good standing on that base. No, it looks right. It's kind of beat up. It's kind of, you know, who knows what stuff is on there. It could be concrete, could be a little bit of metal, could be, who knows. These are your bases, yours. So you can paint them up however you want. You can also paint up your Transformers however you want. Doesn't matter. I think this will be a good blue for Prime. And again, we're going to use the, yeah, I think that's a good one. Going to use the large base brush to get the legs done, or at least the bottom half of the legs done. So take a big dollop of the blue paint, and this one we're using Calidor. I know I didn't show you guys for that. Yeah, Calidor, however you want to pronounce it. Calidor Sky. That's the blue that I've kind of chosen for Prime. And I think it's a good choice. It's a little bit lighter, maybe, than some of the blues that people would choose, but haha, there it is, the rhyme. The blue that people would choose. Or the blues that people would choose. There it is, there's the rhyme again. But I like it, and it does give us the option to darken it down when we give it a wash. Or we might, if I just like the way it looks, I might just do a pin wash. The pin wash is just getting the wash into the recesses, into the not the mold lines, but the panel lines. Of course, I'm doing a thin coat. Now, of course, these are static miniatures. They don't transform, although that would be cool as heck. But I'm not, you know, I wouldn't expect them to transform anyway. They're cool. I like them just the way they are. And of course, you know, don't worry about anything you mess up right at this stage. Be messy. Art is messy. There's a time to be tidy with your art, and there's a time to be messy with your art. And right now, it's messy time. You just get those colors on there. Don't worry about if you get stuff on the base or if you get stuff on other parts of Prime, because we're just going to go back, clean it up. Yeah, you know, and you also do different versions of Prime too if you want. I mean, there's an all black Prime I've seen. There's an all white Prime. All kinds. So don't limit yourself to just the Prime that you know and love and you've seen on TV, and have have toys of. Like that, I popped him out of the handle. And just like that, he's popped back into the handle. Easy peasy. There we are. So you can see, we still have a long way to go. We have the base to do, we have highlighting and washing to do. So I think these guys are going to look amazing when they're done. Not because I'm necessarily a fantastic painter, and I'm not the greatest painter in the world. I have seen some amazing people out there, and I've seen some amazing paint jobs. So to all of you guys out there who are absolutely amazing, Drew Harrington is one of them from 1 Inch Heroes. He is absolutely fantastic. Josh from Mini Painting Studio is another guy that is absolutely amazing to watch and see paint, and there are so many other guys that I can't even remember the names of, and I'm sorry out there, guys, for not remembering you. But everything that I'm doing and teaching and stuff like that, these guys can take it they can take it to the next level. They can take it to the next step, and it's amazing to see. But besides that, what we're doing here is we're just doing some fun work, getting some Optimus Prime painted. Now again, these are just blocked in colors. They're not the end all be all yet. It's not going to look, these are just to get the colors on. We're going to go back in and get tighter. But you can kind of see, well, we have the starts of Prime. It looks a little funny with the black legs and the bright blue lower legs, but it'll even out. Trust me, it'll even out. Just the base. Maybe it's just too watery. All right. I think we're coming up in a good spot to possibly switch out, at least switch out brushes for the bit. And we're almost coming up on a good place to stop for today. But we're going to continue on with Prime. Some of these guys, such as Starscream, who's mostly a gray color, I'm probably going to actually keep him. I'm not going to reprime him black. I'm going to actually keep working. I'm going to work with him in the white or the light gray primer that he's in, because he's practically the right color as it is. So now I've switched over to my medium layer. That's going to give me a little bit more control for when I do the hands and the head. Just allows me to get closer into the other detail without ruining the stuff that I've already done. Yeah, that's Prime right there. That's who that is. His blue hands, his blue head, blue feet, all that goodness. And once we get everything into place, we'll probably give it a wash, darken it up a little bit. There we go. Now, of course, we're going to have to go back in and tidy up things. We're going to have to tidy the reds, tidy the black, you know, all kinds of junk. But he's going to look good. Or at least, I'll think he's look good. And that's really all that matters. As long as I think it looks good. And that's okay. So we have a little bit more work to do on the base colors, the reds and the blues, and then we're going to move on to the grays and silvers. But as you can see, it's definitely an Optimus Prime is coming to life. And we'll put him right there so you can see him. So until then, paint safe, and we'll see you in the workroom.